One of the requests I've gotten a lot in the comments section is to give a virtual tour of my office where I keep all the toys that I collect and I've worked on through the years. And as much as I'd like to say this is what my office looks like, no, it's not. This is a home office. I work out of home, which is great. And no, as much as I'd like to say I have a giant Victorian office a la 221B Baker Street, no, that's not the case either. But hey, it's a free tour, so what are you going to do? So let's check it out. All right. So I work out of home. We have a 4-bedroom beautiful home in Greensboro, North Carolina, and very blessed to have that. And I was able to convert one of the upstairs bedrooms into my office when we moved here from California. So yeah, we'll go in and I'll scan up here some of my preferred comics, which I have all over my wall in my office, some toys I've worked on, postcards I've collected, all sorts. This is all my I have a little Jawa that I've taken all over the world and taken photos of him in front of different monuments and stuff. Bob the Jawa goes quantity surveying. More of my comics and spin around to the other side of my door. Keep calm and call Sir Percy. And the flying hamster of doom will rain coconuts on your pitiful city. One of my favorite postcards. I've had that since I was like 13. All right, shutting the door there. There's my Sherlock Holmes hat and a bunch of more comics that I've mounted on the wall. A lot of these are either some of the first comics I bought, or these are all comics I had basically as a kid. Is really what these are. These are ones that meant something to me. There's Fin Fang Foom Fireside Theater album, and some of my vintage actual Kenner figures. There's modern Hasbro figures. There's my Skiff. One of the weak ways has fallen over. Procrustes, Masters of the Classic Trapjaw. A bunch of Tusken Raiders have taken over Luke's his land speeder. All right, then here's where I keep my Castle Grayskull, which is not really covered in Motu figures. It's much more just covered in kind of like whatever I had that I wanted to decorate it with. I got Swiftwind on the top, Wolverine on a dinosaur in front of it. I think Daenerys on a Lord of the Ring Nazgul fell beast, which is kind of close to her riding a dragon. All right, here I'll go for like a closer look here. So yeah, there's Motu Classic She-Ra. Oh, who's on top? I've got Nick Fury and Superintendent Chalmers and Mr. Miracle popping out there. Batman. Down here I got Pirates, Origins, Tila, Tauntaun. There's Rick Sanchez standing on the drawbridge. Homer Simpson chatting with him. I love Tauntauns. That's my mail. That's where I keep, my bills and things I have to do. There's my Voltron, Enterprise. There's a mighty Spector. Oh, got some masks I picked up while traveling in Egypt and Africa after college. And then there's my Savage Dragon variant cover that Chris was nice enough to sign. Eric signed it too as well. Chris, the creator of G-Man. My back closet, lots of reference material. Not really where I keep my books. That's down in our library, but this is where I've got some comics and some, like encyclopedias. My other Castle Grayskull for when kids come over and want to play with one. Hey, what can I say? I worked on it. I have 2 of them. And I'm greedy. All right, let's see. My Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves figures. Some of the only figures I keep carded because they're beautiful. Still have to get Robin Hood and Will Scarlet, but I'll get them. Here's my Star Wars Cantina run by Mo Shislak. Then around from that, we got Voltron, and there's my desk, where we'll get to that once I swing around, but kind of to view the full other side of the office. All right, so let's see. My Marvel Legends collection. So my archive Marvel Legends are X-Men figures, which from 1992-ish. So I've got Bad Guys, and then X-Force, X-Factor, and finally X-Men Gold and Blue, sort of the Jim Lee animated series era. And then right under them, let me turn my light on here. Here's my Spider-Man villains. So just got to add some new ones, like the new Shocker from the retro line they put out. My Black Series Imperial Officers. I don't know why, I just like Imperial Officers. My Fantastic Four, Then and Now. Finally got to finish that, which was great, thanks to that new retro line. I'm waiting for those. My HasLab Sentinel, which is probably the most expensive toy I've bought. Then some knickknacks, business card from a Chinese restaurant that's not in business anymore, but I used to go to when I was a kid. Sherlock Holmes silhouette, Han and Carbonite. There's my very first comic book, Iron Man. That was, my grandfather sent that to me at summer camp. Literally the first comic book I ever read. the actual issue. My map of Middle Earth, and then going around that, different photos on the wall of people that I've been very blessed to have gotten to meet. My droid collection, or at least, some droids out to look at because droids are, fun. They're on top of my complete Far Side set by Gary Larson and my PK meter. All right, we'll get to the back storage room in a bit. This is the back wall, which is a bit of a busy wall. On top is my favorite painting of all time, which is The Age of Reptiles. That's part 2. Part 1 is over here. It's a 2-part diorama that the original is in the Peabody Museum, Yale, Connecticut, which I used to go to as a kid. And I just absolutely love that painting. It took me forever to find a replica to frame. Some of my knickknacks, different figures I've collected, prototype Darkseid that looked like a statue that never got released, Link next to a hobbit hole, Mandalorian, lots of the books I've been currently reading, all of my Galoob Star Wars Micro Machines, my violin, which is leaning up against a TIE fighter at the moment. These bins here at the bottom, so these are my everyday figures. So this is my 6-inch bin, and then I have my Star Wars 3 3/4 bin next to it. So this is so I don't have to disturb the archive sets. They can sort of stay put away safely until I have room to display them. All of these figures are duplicates. So the archive set is set, and then these are some of my favorites. All right, and this is what I call the pile, which in this corner is just sort of like lots of random stuff. So, did I miss any of these shelves? Reference books, stuff that I use for clients, writing books, Boba Fett blasting out of the Sarlacc pit, Battle Cat, Panther. There's the blue Superman, the pale blue one that unfortunately never got released, but we had like 3 prototypes made, so of course I had to check one out. Skeletor on Panther, on Classics Panther, that vintage Skeletor. And, that's the Construct ship that I built as a child that I still had. My Anakin Skywalker, Sebastian Shaw figure. There's not enough of those. The 12-inch one, I love that. Some Jax stuff, Jada stuff, my Build-A-Figure Sentinel, kind of got me into Marvel Legends. Let's see, that's Lord Kirchner. Clock that's only right twice a day. My hat rack that I've had at every job, every office I've ever been in, I brought my hat rack. It's got lots of different sci-fi hats on it. And then kind of behind it is the pile. Let me move my music stand here. Okay, much better. Yes, I keep that when I'm practicing. So here is the pile, and it's a lot of sort of just random knickknacks I've gotten. Oh, did I hit all the shelves? That's my there's my Maddie Award, my Infinity Gauntlet hardback, which is a story I loved way before it was a movie. My knickknack cabinet. This is different things I've picked up on my travels to Egypt, to Africa, to Mexico. Some movie stuff and some family things like my grandfather's ring. There's a Jax BB-8 and plush chickens and anti-monitors and just like all sorts of just things from throughout my career that I've been blessed to get. My NECA Belrog. This was probably the most expensive figure I owned before I bought the Sentinel, with Thor on top because that's what Thor does. Some of my favorite 3 3/4 at his feet sort of around the base. And then at the bottom of the pile, besides my AT-AT from when I was a kid, or AT-AT as we called it, some of my sci-fi weapons, Ghostbusters, Rick and Morty, Dagobah X-Wing, Bomb, my only Power Rangers toy. I bought it because it had hieroglyphics on it. Turned out it was gibberish. All right, so this shelf here these are kind of figures that don't really fit in with a collection. They just sort of represent everything I love in pop culture. And 2 shelves, the good guys, and then this one's the bad guys. So basically between these 2 shelves is, if I love it and there's an action figure of it, this is where it goes. And then this is the replica I built of Sherlock Holmes Flat 221B, Baker Street, my knickknack shelf, my lightsaber. Back there is my Hal Jordan figure from JLU, guarded by Royal Guards and the Emperor with a knife. The Wax Lion from Wonder Falls, and my SAR not Sherlock Holmes, Doctor Strange. Well, he also plays Sherlock Holmes. But yeah, that's the most expensive 6-inch figure I've gotten. Then my Africa knick-knack shelf with every Jawa that's ever been released. Then down from the top, I have the Spider-Man and his amazing friends having a battle. That's the very first super articulated Spider-Man figure, the one pre-Marvel Legends, but it's a great figure. It still holds up. And then, of course, on the other side of the Marvel wall, then I've got some DC figures. I've got Batman and Robin climbing up the wall. Why are we walking like this? My periodic table, some Mayan art, and there's the view of my neighbor's yard, and like a little bit of our yard. At least I get some sunlight, which is nice. More comics, again, all stuff I collected as a kid, stories that meant things to me, like the actual issues I had as a kid, not, ones I've rebought or anything. I mean, obviously there's been some comics I've gotten rid of, but keep the good ones. And then back here are more everyday bins. So as I noted, I have a complete collection of Masters of the Universe classics, DCU classics, that type of thing. So these are duplicates that are my everyday go-to figures of just my favorites. They're not complete sets. They're just the ones that I want access to. And if I need to get one of the other ones, I can get out of storage. But this way, until I have proper display space in a bigger office, that's how I do it. What I do with lines that I don't have room to display. Right, and then view out the window again. There's the street, and it's nice to get some sunlight because not all offices have windows. So here's my desk where I'm actually sitting right now recording this video of this desk. Here's the front with some of my favorite Motu Classics figures across the front, so that I get to look at them every time I walk in. They're the first thing you see, like across the front of my desk. I don't actually see clients in this office. This is just where I work. But I do Zoom calls and that type of thing. So here's the front of my desk with some of my just favorite toys, things I've worked on, things I've loved, my favorite characters, like my top characters, things from Jada, Entertainment Earth, Pinmates, probably something from every company I've worked at. And that's my actual walrus man from when I was a kid on the reserve sign there. And my dinosaur pillow, and my computer, and my microphone that I'm talking into right now. It's like, so meta. All right. And then the last thing is my back office, which is more of a storage room / repair shop, I guess you could say. I keep a lot of tools to fix figures and fix toys or to build prototype toys for clients and that kind of thing. I've got all sorts of crazy gadgets and tools and soldering irons back here and glue, and there's lots of crazy stuff going on in this room. And it's also where I store the bins of my archive collection, so my Motu and my DC. But if you look around, there's a lot of crazy stuff. Alright, so back there in those slots between the wood pillars there, those are the giant bins of my Motu and DCU, Ghostbusters, Lord of the Rings, and Simpsons, a few other complete sets I have of figures that I just don't have room to put them all out. So they're archived there, and then the everyday ones I keep out here. Some of my comics, this web store. And then on the other side of the door, the last thing is basically this last little display. There's the other half, or rather the first half of Ziegler's dinosaur art. And my chess set, which has way more action figures than chess pieces on it at this point. But it's nice because I can just easily pick it up and remove it because it's sitting on top of my record player. And if I want to hear a record, I can move it pretty easy because it's one giant piece. And then on the other side, I've got Kodos and Kang playing their own chess match with, I think, the Imperials watching. I don't know what they're playing for. Probably that blue sack. All right. And after that, then I have some more displays. Again, because since I can't have all of my figures out, this is my way of having my best of the best. These are kind of my favorite superheroes or heroes of all time forming their own kind of Scott's Avengers. My Captain Marvel shelf, my Star Wars Cantina 3 3/4, my Eric Larson Savage Dragon figures with both customs and store-bought. The only customs I've done. My Rebel Pilots. So, can't have all my Star Wars figures, not the room, but at least I can display them. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. It's just lots of displays of, my favorite things, Jabba's Palace there. And I love working here because it's surrounded by product I bought pre-becoming a toy professional, things I've done working in toys, things I've bought while working in toys. It's a combination of everything, and I'm really proud of the collection I've amassed, and I enjoy it every day. And let's end with a dragon. Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope this video is what everyone wanted to see. If there's parts of the office I missed or you want me to get other shots of, let me know. And feel free to share this with others. Tells YouTube to keep sharing it themselves and helps that whole algorithm thing. And it does support the channel. So thank you guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the comment section.